Hello and welcome to Bendy, a podcast about being flexible in all of the ways that means. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andy Young, and I'm one of your celestial cosmic hosts. Joining me as always is our other celestial and cosmic host, Beth Martin. Beth, a pleasure as always. What's the crack?
Um, I love the words. What's your sign? Speaking of celestial,
Gemini.
Gemini. You're a Gemini?
Yeah, I know everybody's like, "What? You're a Gemini?"
Oh, I
It's
can totally see that.
um, I've been told by some people that I'm like they can see it, and I'm the seeing this one of the seeing Geminis they've met, and I'm like, I'm not that
Yeah.
seeing, really.
No. It's like your sweetness overrides like the scary crazy
Yeah,
that most
yeah, yeah,
Geminis
yeah.
have, I think.
I think that like, and there definitely is some scary, lots of scary crazy in here, but like I try to use it for as a force of good for the most
I was
part.
gonna say you're using the force for good instead of evil.
And I think I've thought about like the duality of me is that like a lot of people are like, "Hey, there's Andy, he's so happy and lovely," whereas like there's all this
You're
darkness
sitting in a dark
inside,
corner
you know.
crying.
There's exactly.
You just
Uh,
turned like the other face just like only looks at you.
yes, but basically, yeah, that's what I do. It fucking sears into me.
Okay, so for those that don't know about Geminis, it's like it's basically like two personalities or two faces.
Yeah,
And so it's always this like which person am I gonna get today or whatever. But and like it's usually like it's more of an external, so you're just like it's not like bipolar or whatever, but like
no,
yeah, it's kind of like, I'm sorry Geminis, giving you a bad rap. But that's interesting.
sorry,
Seeing as like I always forget your birthday, I feel like I should know your sign
it's fine.
or not at all.
It's quite all right. I mean,
Uh,
yes. Anyway,
okay. So
what's your star sign actually? Just before we move on, I
I'm
think
a Libra.
okay.
So
I
I'm
don't
all
know the
about balance.
significance of that balance.
It's the scales balance.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
like
nice.
I want everything to be like that's why I complain so much because it's like it's not balanced.
It's not fair.
It's
Not
not fair.
fair. Fair.
I guess like maybe it is not fair.
I mean, like that's
You're
something.
like, you whiny little potato. Uh,
No,
I guess I am like, it's not fair. It's not fair,
it's
Andy.
not fair.
It's
It
not
isn't
fair.
fair. In
Okay.
fairness, it's not fair.
In fairness, it is.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're on a bender, you guys. We're doing
Yeah.
a double recording today, so
Yeah.
you get what you get and you're
Yeah.
gonna like it.
You will.
So what is the crack?
Hmm.
Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Sure, I'll start. So here's the big news. Andy's DJ now. I
Holy
have,
fucking shit, that's so cool.
isn't it? So I have like, I have, I got, I had a
How
conversation with.
much? Okay, he just showed me like he's got like the cutest little turntable
Is
I've
that
ever
adorable?
seen. I had techniques in
Yeah, this new York one.
college.
Yeah, my friend recommended this to me, and I had a conversation with somebody a few weeks ago. I bought this months ago, and I
You
deal
did
with.
not tell. You've had this for months and you didn't
I've
tell
had this
me.
since Christmas,
Jesus
but
Christ,
I haven't.
July.
It hasn't been taken out of the box since until like about a week or so ago. So I um met a friend I haven't seen in ages. They are living in South America, and we went for a drink and we were chatting, and he was talking about how he used to DJ years ago, and he DJed 10, 15 years. Like, and he had like vinyl. He was like doing it, in the purest sense of the word.
Hmm.
And he was talking about how he picked it back up again, and he was doing it with a set of electronic decks. He was using MP3s and things like that. And I said, I picked up a deck, a set of decks, like a set of electronic decks. And then we started chatting a bit more about it. We found out we had exactly the same set, which was heartening. Like I got this recommended from a friend who was a DJ and was like, "This is an excellent starting piece of kit." But he has also picked this up because he's flying back to South America and needs something light and fairly transportable that is also quite reliable. So he was like, "Look, if you've got exactly the same one as me, why don't you come over and I'll just show you how it works?" And it was great. We spent like 2 hours. He kind of like took me through all the bits and pieces, all the kind of stuff that it does. And like he actually got me to do some beat matching and things like that and do a bit of mixing and like,
Is it
certainly
hard? Is it harder to do than like have
not
you ever beat
really.
matched on with records?
No, I've never beat master. I've
It's
never done that.
fucking hard.
Yes, that sounds like a
And like
fucking nightmare.
it's so hard. It's so and like granted I'm, white American girl, I have no rhythm, but it's like when you don't beat match, it's called train wrecking, and all I would
Yes.
do is train wreck and train wreck and train wreck.
Like he was great at showing me that what that sounds like. But what's really incredible about like some of the software he was showing me is that you can load up your tracks and you can then set kind of match their BPMs,
Mhm.
then match the beats, right?
BPM is beat per minute.
Exactly. Thank you. That is
Yeah.
useful. You can kind of use like this thing to like one of these things to kind of like take it down, find
It's like a the little
the little
record turntable
turntable. Yeah,
thingy.
sorry, I'm sure
Yeah.
I should be using my words. Uh Using the turntables to
He's
kind
like
of like
this thing.
this thing, this thing, guys, that you're all see at home. Um Using that to kind of slow it down and match the rhythms and then kind of build into it. And he also showed me like how to like, talked about, finding the 8 bars, find and setting marks and things like that, how to loop, things like that, how to like throw in samples and a little bit of scratching. And I was like, this all seems very achievable. So I'm going to start playing with that a lot more over the coming weeks. You know the way I was
I'm
talking about
super
decluttering my
excited.
life.
Yeah. Right? Well, this is like you're talking about like cluttering it with things that are creative,
It's
and this
true.
is super creative.
It is. It's true.
And I think it's a library. So I remember like when Moby came out, it was like obviously like is still like you can't not still love Moby and the music he makes, but a lot of his samples came from the Library of Congress.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he would just I don't know if he would go in or yeah, I'm assuming like back in the 90s or 80s or whatever. He would go in and like you could listen to all these records and yeah, there's here in the States it's like there's a copyright law where if it's I think it's like 100 years
Yes, I think it is
and
100 years.
then you can hold a copyright for 100 years and then anything after that it's free it's anybody can use it. So that's
Yeah.
why like classical music is used all the time.
Yeah.
So he would go find these things that were I think not under copyright law anymore and then put them in his music. So that's
Yes.
why a lot of it is,
That's interesting. Oh yeah,
yeah,
because like Superman's going into the
blues.
public domain pretty soon
Mm, mm.
and things like that. Yeah, it's interesting.
Sucks
Uh,
for sucks for them.
Next to them, I'm sure they've got sneaky ways to make
I'm
sure
sure
that's
they
not going to be
do.
a problem.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to get into it a little bit more. It's something that I would like to be able to build it into my downtime if possible. So I'm trying to set up something that's easy for me to like pull it out, be working on it without too much of a headache because all too often if I have downtime, I will, take it to play video games or watch a show or whatever. But I think that I could like I really enjoy doing this, and I think if I keep playing with it, I think I could get better and stuff at it. So I'm hoping to like build this into my leisure time if possible.
That's awesome.
It's like a hack, a creativity hack,
What's
maybe.
your DJ name?
Captain Adorable. Do you like how I had that on deck?
Yeah. Well, and it's like last episode you were talking about your Dungeons and Dragons names for the
Yeah,
Pixies.
yeah,
What were
yeah,
they?
yeah.
Pinecone
Pine.
and
No, no, that there was the pug. There was a pug called Pinecone, and there was a hamster called Biscuit that could talk.
it's like of course you're Captain Adorable.
Person out. It kind of came from I saw years ago.
Uh,
I was like walking through a clothing section in one of our supermarkets, and like they're all like, there's a whole mixture of stuff like baby stuff's here and like men's stuff's here, and it's just like there's not much delineation. And I was walking past a bit, and I guess there was some kids clothes there, and there was a T-shirt that just said Captain Adorable. So I took a photo of it and sent it to like one of my group of male friends, and I was like, guys, they don't have the T-shirt I like in my size. So I have lodged that in my brain, and I'm like, I want to use it somewhere.
I remember when the kids were little and I was like shopping in the baby section and it's like you know there's the little baby boys and little baby girls and like a lot of them mirror each other so it'll be like you know
Yeah,
Supergirl and Superman or
yeah,
whatever but it was like there in the boys section there was this shirt that said genius and then in the girls section there was this shirt that said girl genius
love it.
and I was like
Wow,
that's so fucked up.
that's
That's
really
so
fucked
fucked
up.
up.
Yeah,
I know,
that's
right? So, anyways, it
ah,
was like I was watching The Simpsons with the kids the other night. Sorry, I'm just like tangenting.
no, it's all
Sorry,
right.
everyone. And like, uh, they were like at a Build-A-Bear. Do you know what a Build-A-Bear
Yes, I
is?
do.
Okay, so it's like the store at the mall where you can go in and like you build a teddy bear and then they dress it up and they fill it with, stuffing and they walk out with a teddy bear that's like a unicorn or a teddy bear, whatever, and it's wearing whatever outfit you want. And Lisa's like, I gotta, she's got her little like dolphin or whatever, and the lady's like, can I help you find a little outfit for your little build a whatever? And she's like, yes, can I have a doctor? And she's like, nurse. She's like,
Yeah.
principal. She's like, elementary school teacher. She's like, you know. So, and then she was like, well, it's a boy. And she's like, oh, here's the doctor outfit. I was like laughing. Anyways,
heartbreaking yet unsurprising that those
I know.
brutal gender roles are being enforced
Yeah.
from such a young age. Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not
This
surprising,
was
but
like 9 years ago, but yeah, that
I know, but like
time, that's not that long ago.
still happening. Like, yeah. Um. So, what about you? Any crack with you?
So I don't know if it's official or not, but I'm gonna say things out loud anyway. Mike got into a program at Oxford.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's like a certificate. It's not like a degree, but still it's like they only allow 42 people a year into the
That rocks.
program. I know, right? So so it starts in January of next year. He has to go over 4 times for a week, like over the next year,
Mm-hmm.
and then like do the schoolwork. So I think at least probably in October, I think he's going to probably graduate. So I think we're going to come over.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's gonna rock.
So yeah, as my like he's like, I guess I could just apply for like their like business master's program, but I already have. He's got like two or three, I don't know.
Yeah,
But he's like, or I could just like hold out for a PhD. I'm like,
I love it.
so I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
Uh, he had told me he was applying for this. I don't know, like it's like a year ago or something. And then like I got an email from him last week, and he's just like, "Well, fuck." And it's like the admissions application. It's like, "Welcome to Oxford."
Wow.
Um, I
Well,
know.
wasn't expecting it, but why not? Yeah.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure out like his boss, I think, is in Ireland right now. Is it the U.S. Open?
Oh, it's the Open. It's just called the Open, and
Mm.
it's a big one that's happening
I
in
just
the
said the
north.
U.S. Open. I'm so sorry, you
Unbelievable,
guys. What a fucking
unbelievable. I
idiot.
know, because golf is so important to me.
People are throwing
Uh,
throwing tomatoes at their iPod, AirPods, iPods.
yeah, no, it's my dad, and my uncle were up at it. So
Okay.
it's yeah, it's a big deal.
Okay. So Mike's boss is there too,
Nice.
apparently.
Okay.
Uh Mike's like, I don't know if that makes it worse or better. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
He hates golf.
Yeah.
So that is exciting. And, you know, any opportunity to get over to hop across the the entire United States and then the pond because I'm on the other
Yes.
side of the state.
True.
Just excited.
Two big hops. Yeah, it'll be
I'm
great.
just putting that on your calendar already.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm very excited for it. Yeah, hell yeah. Bring always come over. I want you to come over.
Yep.
Like, I mean, and I'll come over and see you UK, but I want you to come over to Ireland at some point
I
as
know.
well.
I know. I know. I know. Well, that's my thought is maybe we could do both.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if especially if you're making multiple trips, hopefully,
Yeah.
so we can figure it out. I
Yeah.
very excited for it. Love it. That'll be great. Okay. Do you have any what's occurring?
I don't.
Okay, me neither. Because I
Okay.
mean, we just want to move
I
on
want to
to
talk
our
about our topic.
exactly. Let's get into it then. All right. So, we're once again doing, I think we really enjoyed doing the last episode on a movie. I think we're going to
Mhm.
keep going with this new format. Again, we are looking for feedback and stuff on it, but I think we will almost certainly be heading in this direction. So we've done another movie. We're going to take a episode about for now. We're probably going
Look
to
at us
kick off,
trying to commit to something.
right? We're go
We think.
we probably will. But we're probably going to like take a turnabout up until episode 100, and then
Yeah.
we change official from there. So we'll have some sort of like 100th episode spectacular, which is probably just going to be Cool Animal Facts episode 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Whatever we
then
want, which is that.
exactly.
So
And
we
then
can talk about more pistol shrimp.
exactly. and then we'll move into our new format. So this week's episode is called The Flight of the Navigator, colon, the movie test of time. So we're just putting Flight of the Navigator through the ringer. I think it's a
Yeah,
movie that's meaningful for both of us. Would that be fair to
very.
say?
Yes. Yes.
I adored this movie as a kid. Like it was so I I must have watched it many, many times and it is glued in my brain. Like just hearing compliance is like is
I
will
know.
never leave my head, which is what the kind of
Compliance.
compliance, which is what yeah, exactly, yeah. Compliance is what the kind of spaceship says to the boy, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Um,
So the movie came out. It's called Flight of the Navigator,
yeah,
starring Joey
yeah.
Kramer
Kramer,
and Paul Rubin.
yeah. And Sarah Jessica
Uh,
Parker is probably the only other person that people might know.
yes, came out in 1978,
hmm
so before we were born. Wait, were you born in 78 or 79?
79. No, no,
Okay.
no, no, no. It came out in 86. It's just the initial
Oh,
part of it's set in
sorry, you're
78.
right.
Yes,
Takes place in 1978 and 19.
86.
Yes, thank you. What's that was like +8. So,
Yep.
so in 1978, a boy travels 8 years into the future and has an adventure with an intelligent, wisecracking alien ship.
Yep. Correct.
I
It
took that
rocks.
from IMDb
It's
instead
perfect.
of
No, that's
Wikipedia because it was like, no, what, 2 sentences or what?
it's a perfect description. Um, I it's like thrilled to get into this, but like so first of all, I was like I just other thing I looked at was the director.
Mhm,
So the director was a guy called Randall Kleiser.
mhm.
And I was just like, he had a very interesting movie career. Most notably, the other things that he did were Grease,
Yes.
which is obviously a big deal, and then also kind of the Blue Lagoon movies are the only kind of movies I kind of know. And those
I
movies are
knew the
weird.
White Fang.
Okay.
So, the Gary Paulson, I think, is the writer. I don't know
Uh-huh.
if like, did you ever read like Hatchet or White Fang? It's like
I don't
very
think so.
okay. Gary Paulson is really popular in the States,
Okay.
because it a lot of his stories take place in Alaska, and we have this like romantic idea of what Alaska is and like the frontier and
Yes, of course, of
um,
course. Yep.
Jack London and all that. Even though I don't think he ever lived there, but that's okay. You have an imagination. That's what it's for. So yeah, so Randall Kleiser, uh, his first film was a because I guess okay, well this is he's like 80 now. He's still directing. I looked at his IMDb.
Oh wow, is he?
His
Okay.
first film was a short called Foot Fetish about a romantic encounter between two shoes.
Okay,
So
okay.
like I was looking for feet through the entire movie just to see if he had like a foot fetish. He does not, I don't think.
Okay.
Um, then I found out he originally wanted to be a cartoonist for
Okay.
Disney. And so it's funny that like that so Flight of the Navigator, I think they had like there was like a little bit of like tug of war of like which film studio was gonna produce it, and Disney ended up being the one that was like, we're gonna do it. And he was like, I wanted to work for you, but I guess I'm gonna do it through this instead of being a cartoonist. Because they like he showed up with a whole like canister like when he was a kid, and he was like, I'm a cartoonist too. And they were like, no, no,
Wow.
no. And like, he was like, this is full circle. So, and also he was in the same class as George Lucas.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So
Love it.
they all know each other. It's like this core key group of people.
You see it even in, I mean, you're watching that like
I
Magic at the
am.
minute. Like there's so
I
much
like
crossover,
so much. It's like I'm like fangirl of
Isn't it
all these people
incredible?
now. Yeah.
It's so good. Like
Yeah.
I just love that show so much. And because like, I really love, you know,
It's changing my life.
yeah. I love how movies are kind of made and it's such an insight into those. I love that show so much.
Yes.
Um so yeah, so
I have
rewatching it then.
one fat wait,
Sure,
real
go,
quick.
Coast,
Okay,
please.
so the writer was Mark Baker.
Okay.
It was his first script. It was originally called Vanished, and it wasn't like funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like more like, oh, how does this work? And, the existential
Sure.
of it all, right? So then other writers came in and they were like, let's make it funnier and make it a kids
Sure.
movie and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. And he's only got other one script that became a film. So it was kind of
Oh,
like flash in the pan, but um, yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah. Sorry,
I
you go.
No, that was good. I no no no. I think that no, I like that. I was just going to ask. You know, we watched it. Initial thoughts before we get into it. Did you enjoy it? Did it hold
I,
up, live up to expectations?
I it was a little, I had it built up in my, it's like it's like when you're trying to show someone all the movies that are worth watching, right?
Yep.
Kids movies and like with the kids, I'm like this. So it took me 10 years to get them to watch Flight of the Navigator. We just watched it this year. Um, and like when we rewatched it and it like I loved it, but it didn't quite hit me. And we can talk about it more towards the end when we like rate it, but I guess like the dialogue was a little less than it could have been,
Hmm.
right? It's like, Jack, I got a gun. You can't get me, or whatever, when he's like running through the forest. Like some of the dialogue was just kind of like not, I know they wanted it to be believable and like every kid or whatever, but the dialogue,
Yes.
I think too many hands in the script, maybe.
That makes sense. I mean, like, I feel like it is really typical of Disney movies of that era that were all really
Yes.
just the writing was just
Yes.
like very much, let's just get this thing moving here. There isn't much meat in the bone in that way.
Yeah. I think the story, it was like, what is the overarching story? And that's what they focused on more than like the individual words, which is fun.
Yes.
Um, but rewatching it, um, like the kids loved it, but I had to say, like, well, I'll get into that. Okay, what are your thoughts?
Like I enjoyed it. My initial
Was it
thoughts
as
are,
amazing as you remember it as a kid?
um, it lived up to my expectations. I
Good.
thought that like 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 highlight headline. It's a 90-minute movie, which I
Yeah,
fucking love.
I know.
It gets in
I
at
know.
night and it does what it needs to do. It tells a complete story and it gets out of there. I think it has some genuinely lovely emotional beats. I think that like again, structurally it's a bit of a mess. But it has some really kind of wonderful stuff in there. I think it's really kind of like smart with the how long it makes you wait for the kind of goods, as in the kind of sci-fi goods and like seeing the spaceship and things like that. I think there's some really clever stuff in there in that way. And I think that like even though I was talking about it in terms of a lot of movies of that era being fairly thinly written, and I think this suffers from that. I think that it is still better than a lot of those in my memory, at least anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I remember rewatching like The Last Unicorn with my sister and being like, this is weird and awful and
Yeah.
sad and not what I remember as a child. And like I
Yes.
probably shouldn't have rewatched that. This I'm glad I did. The kids loved it. Like when I was like, I gotta watch it again for the podcast, they're like, oh, we want to watch it too. They were excited.
Yeah.
Um, just like the just the opening credits are the best opening credits I've probably ever
Oh.
seen.
Oh, I was going to say, one of the things I'd written was maybe the best single opening to a movie of all time.
Yes. So it's like it's just dogs that are leaping in the air in slow motion, catching like
Yeah,
frisbees. So
it
it's
fucking
supposed to look like a
rocks.
UFO or whatever,
Yeah.
right? That's the opening. And then like a dog jumps up. You see this like frisbee. It looks like a UFO. And then
Yes.
a dog jumps up and grabs it. And it's just like the slow motion dog frisbee competition. And I was like, I could
Rocks.
watch this for hours.
Yes. Absolutely. It was
Yeah.
incredible. It was so, and like I'd forgotten that's how it started. And it was like, yes, this rocks. Just give me like 15 minutes of this. And it's got like, and it's the first time I think you hear one of the signature tunes, and it's really kind of pacey and fun. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a good time here.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's a scene where I had like major nostalgia
Hmm.
for like ch my childhood, which like if you're a child of like late 70s, early 80s, like we were lawless, we were dirty, we were out in the,
Hmm.
running around. Our parents didn't know, yeah, like you knew you were close enough within yelling distance, but like whatever. Like playing up in like the hills of Kentucky, like next to dynamite boxes, and our parents were like, "Yeah, it's fine." I'm not kidding. That really happened.
That's nuts. That's
So,
so nuts.
but there's this point, like they're coming back from the frisbee game, and the kids are sitting in the hatchback of their station wagon, like in the
Hmm.
very back where there's no seatbelts, and they're like in the
Hmm.
back with the dog.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, like we never, like we had a hatchback, and I sat in the back with the dog all the time.
Just sliding about the place.
Yeah, and the kid, yeah, and then the parents, his little brother Jeff is like, I'm gonna get out and play at Billy's, and they're like, yeah, okay, it's fun, and like they drop the kid off at the Billy's front yard, which is like there are no grown-ups. It's
Yeah.
all kids running around.
Yeah.
There's a slip and slide, and they all have
Yeah.
fireworks.
And
And
they
I
play.
was like, this is amazing. This is amazing. So completely unsupervised. I was like, that I miss that. I miss
So
like
incredible.
because times have changed, and like I just started letting the kids walk the dog on the we don't have sidewalks here, so and everyone drives like 60 miles an hour in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you can walk the dog here by
Yes.
yourselves, and like it's a big deal. Um and obviously a lot of it's like I just don't want them to get hit by a car, but it's also just like people are fucking weird. I
They
don't know.
are.
They've always been weird, but now there's the internet, so we know about it more.
Well, yeah, this is
Anyways.
which is yeah, it's horrifying in its own way. Like I think that what I quite like as well is that it would be rare. Like the brothers are so spiky with each other in such a fun way. Like they have a really kind of like believable rivalry or like, hatred for each other.
Yeah.
Um,
They're like yelling words at each other.
yeah. And I really like that.
You're a digested pizza or what? I can't remember. Anyways,
Yeah, I can't remember either. I should have written them down.
those
Um,
words that they were yelling at each other, those were all improvised.
oh, were they? That's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
That rocks. Like, and it felt, I think it felt earned in that way. And I think it was like, you know, certainly in a movie of that ilk, which is, I mean, Flight of the Navigator is a movie for kids. It feels, that sort of stuff feels very sanitized when you see it these days. Like conflict feels very kind of like managed, and like confined. Whereas like it really felt like they really couldn't stand the sight of each other, which, pays off in some nice ways as the movie goes on.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the other thing that I quite like about it is that so first of all, early on, there is a couple of major fake outs, like A, the frisbee, B, the blimp, and then C, there's a
I
water
forgot the
tower.
blimp.
So like it just fakes you out so many times, and I was like, all right, okay, I know it's not coming anytime soon, but you've got me again. Um, and then I like how the inciting incident, you almost have no idea anything's happened. Like he falls into like a ravine,
Hmm.
and then he
The
just comes back
climax like
out.
happens right, and you're like, what? Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
and I think that's
So
really cool.
I wrote that down, like keeping the timing from when he hits his head at the beginning and goes back to his house
Yeah,
really fast so that like you feel the shock and surprise. I wrote this down. You feel the shock and surprise of him like because so basically like he falls in this ravine, he hits his head, he gets up and is like, "Oh, I fell," and then goes back to his house. He knocks on the door. He's like, "Let me in, you idiots," or
yeah,
whatever. And I was like, that dialogue, like no kid would do that.
yeah.
But or at least not my children. But I'm a perfect parent.
It's
So
true.
but and then like a stranger opens the door and he's like, "Where's my mom and dad?" They're like, "We live here. Like, what are you talking about?" And then he like runs upstairs to his room, and this is like totally 80s. He like opens the door to his room and his room is gone and there's like a creepy like older gentleman
Yeah,
there and he's
drinking,
like
what,
playing like drinking wearing his like Hugh
smoking
Hefner
jacket.
bathrobe,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, "Oh, he looks like a pervert." And he's like, "What can I help you with, little boy?" And I'm like, "Oh God, get out of there. Like he's a pedo." Anyways, that's very 80s.
I think, and it's really, and I try to remember what it was like when I first saw it because, like, especially, how it's advertised, and then it's completely like you're like, what's going on? Like, I thought this was,
Yeah.
a space, this movie with a spaceship and a kid get
Yeah.
having adventures in a spaceship, and then and quickly transpires that he has been catapulted forward 8 years in time, but
But
hasn't
he's
aged a
not
day.
aged.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So then
Um,
the government gets involved. They find his parents.
Mm-hmm.
and they have aged 8 years, and his brother's aged 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then they find out who he is. Yeah, they find out who he is. They find his parents, and then they're trying to figure out like, okay, he's literally like looks exactly like he looks on the wanted poster or
Mm-hmm.
like lost child poster. And so then they start figuring out at the same time, how does the government get the, oh no, so
So
they're
they
like,
they
yeah,
scan his brain,
yes, as you
and
do.
as you do, and his brain
When you
somehow
have a child,
connects
that's yeah.
with the computers of the time and gives them a printout of what the spaceship looks like, and it matches
Yes.
exactly. So as this is happening, we see we're introduced to these NASA engineers, and they have discovered the spaceship that has crashed into like a power grid and have decided to transport it back to the base. And the image that his brain projects into the computers is identical to the spaceship.
Yes. And so they're like, oh, there's a link. Let's get him to Area 51 or whatever. So they're like, we're going to take him for a couple days. No big deal. NBD. And his parents are like, is this cool?
And then navigating and seeing what that looks like. Just before we move on,
Yes.
how freaking incredible is that spaceship design?
Okay. So it's like one of the best designs ever.
It's so good.
So I went a little far into this, Andy.
Nope, that's
I
what I'm
got
here
an A
for.
plus this week. Maybe you can confirm this for me or not. I
Okay.
watched, so there's a documentary called Life After the
Oh, I was
Navigator.
gonna ask, I was gonna bring that up later. Okay. Uh-huh.
I watched it.
Okay.
So I learned a little bit about like how the movie was made and like what was like cool about it. So basically, it's called Randall Glazer, the director, I don't know if he was friends with this guy or like they're all kind of like meshed in there together. He
Yeah.
he was like his friend was like, "Oh, I'm working on this Tide commercial," and it basically like morphed the Tide Pod so that it was actually like reflecting. I don't know. It's called
Look, an
reflective
actual
mapping.
Tide laundry pod.
Yeah, or not a. It was like the bottle. Sorry,
I see, I see, I see, I see.
and but he was able to morph it
Okay.
basically, and so it's called reflection mapping. And he was like, "Oh, this is what I can use for a spaceship." So he's like, "Let's design this." And I don't know if you noticed, so when the spaceship is like flying around, it's actually reflecting its environment.
Yes.
Yes. And so that was like very new technology for
Mm-hmm.
the time. And that's what um they started using for the Terminator movies based on
No
Flight
way.
of the Navigator. Yes.
Who did the special effects then? So it wasn't a studio, was it? Or
I don't know
it's
that.
okay, because that was something I did try to track down and couldn't find a ton of info on it. I
Mm,
mean,
it was like a dude.
wow, that's
I
really
know.
sensational. I hope he
I
was
know.
hired by somewhere. Um,
Yes, I'm sure he was.
but like that, I mean, it just looks great, and like them like just being able to like touch it and move it with their hands and stuff like
Yeah.
that was
And
so.
like they're able to, so like the I don't know if you remember the when the stairs, so that like
Yes,
the stairs basically the half, like there's a hatch that comes out, and instead of just like I don't know, then the stairs morph
yes,
out
the kind of
and are
like
part
the
of the ship,
part of the ship melts away and becomes stairs. It's very
but
cool.
the stairs are they're like not connected to each
Yes.
other. And the way they did that was so good. It was so
Hmm.
good. The special
I
effects were so good.
They really, and it looks so impressive. Like, and there's a few lovely like scenes with the ship later on where it's just like sitting there and they're interacting with people or vice versa, or people are interacting with it, and it's just always so well done, especially with the steps and stuff. Yes, okay, sorry, I stopped down for the ship to say how incredible it was.
So
So,
real quick, fun
uh-huh.
fact, one of the prop holes for the ship was refurbished and it's now the topper of a drink station in Tomorrowland, Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom.
Wait, what is?
The hull of
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
ship.
yeah. How
It's
fascinating.
so yeah, there's a drink station in Tomorrowland that is actually the hull from Flight of the Navigator.
Incredible. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So when you're in Florida next, go to Tomorrowland.
do my Flight of the Navigator pilgrimage. Gotta go to
Uh-huh.
Palm. Where else am I going? Where is he? He's close to Miami, I think, wasn't he? Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so anyway, so he ends up in NASA, and they're going to do studies on him. Um, immediately he meets a robotic helper friend and Sarah Jessica Parker. I
It's like a
had
meal delivery robot,
yeah,
and she's like the helper for the robot,
she is.
which
And
she could
like
have just delivered the meals, but whatever.
yeah, I mean like obviously that is it's foreshadowing, very some very careful foreshadowing. So you know what I was because I think I'd remembered Sarah Jessica Parker being in it more and being more instrumental in it, but she doesn't have tons to do. But
Mhm.
like I have to say that it's like seeing her in that, and I guess this is probably a very early role for her. You can kind of see why she became so big because like she has such kind of like energy and life to her in a really
Mhm.
like even in the little that she has to do, she has this really nice kind of spark and she just kind of brings something to what is a fairly small role.
Yeah. She's definitely like steals the scene and lights up the screen. And
Yes.
I read like some, someone was, it was like whatever anniversary for Flight of the Navigator, and they were like, "What drew you to this part?" And she was like, "Are you kidding me? It was a job. It was a
Yeah.
paycheck. I needed money.
Yeah.
Like that's what drew me to the role."
Absolutely. At that
She was
stage,
like,
I
"I'm
am that.
sure I loved it, but like I needed
I
a
need to pay my
job."
rent. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, so that's good. And like it was nice to see her, I must say. And so and then at this point I'm just kind of like, right, okay, let's go. I
Mhm.
want to get this kid in the ship. I want them flying about doing crazy stuff.
Yep.
And they spend a bit of time and they're having conversations with his brain. There's like data coming out of it. It's baffling. It's quite funny though. And then heads back, and the ship starts communicating with him from a distance, telling him to come and see him. I think like the ship takes control of Ralph, the food delivery robot,
No,
possibly.
Sarah Jessica Parker is like, "I'll help you escape in the escape pod."
Okay,
Or she was like, "This is your escape pod.
I
Put you
see.
in the meal robot, and then because the robot just can drive all around Area 51."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm assuming that's where they are.
That makes sense.
Okay, somewhere NASA,
Well,
right?
yes, maybe in I think it's very Florida centric, right? So maybe somewhere
Yeah,
in
but NASA's
Florida.
in like Houston, so it
That's
might be
true.
Texas. I don't know. Anyways, neither here nor there.
Hmm.
It's a movie, so it's all
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
doesn't matter. Sometimes they were filming in Norway apparently. So
Wow.
it's for a lot of like the flying scenes. Anyways, um so yeah, so he gets in the thing and escapes and gets to the ship, and he's like, and of course there's no one there guarding it,
Yeah.
this UFO that they found. And so he gets out of the little meal robot and is like, and the stairs come down. Like the ship starts to move and operate, and he
Hmm.
gets in it, and um, then it's almost like then it becomes a different movie.
It does
Yeah,
completely. I
yeah.
mean, and like I thought whenever I was going into it, I was like, I'm just going to be waiting for this bit, but I wasn't. I
Mhm.
really enjoyed the build up to it. I kind of like the dynamics with his family, the kind of like what's going on sort of aspect
Yeah.
of it was really quite well done. And it's like, it's also kind of like has that element of like peril and fear that again
Hmm.
is uncommon in like modern
Hmm.
movies that would be targeted at kids, you know?
Yes, and I liked, so his little brother is now older than him.
Yes,
He's a teenager because 8 years have gone by, and I really like the relationship of his older brother and him. I
yes.
like the kid that played his older brother, who was also in the movie The North Shore,
Okay.
which is, if you haven't seen it, you have to, because it's
Okay.
about this kid in Arizona that's like thinks he's a good surfer because they have this indoor surfing park, and then he moves to the North Shore, and it's quite something. Anyways,
Interesting.
uh-huh, some of the best quotes ever, and I think Nia Peebles is in it
Okay.
before she married Kevin Kline and disappeared. So
Oh.
then we're in this new, it's so good, Andy. It's so good. It's so bad, it's good. So but his older brother does a really good job of just like riding that line between, because how do you, it's like he was really believable, I think.
Yes, he was. He really
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Um, and like trying to convince um this little boy that like, I'm still your brother. I'm sorry I scared you in the forest, and that's why you fell, and all these things. So it's like, yeah, you are my brother because you remember these things that no one else would know. So yeah, he was good.
You get the idea that maybe he like, certainly he felt guilty for that and kind of held on to that. So it was maybe he, is determined to be more kind to him now, but he
Yeah,
really is,
yeah.
and he really kind of has his back in kind of like quite fun ways.
It's amazing what 8 years of thinking your brother was,
Your
dead
bro-
will
your bro-
do for you.
yeah, 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 to your relationship,
So, so
Yeah.
then he gets in the ship,
Hmm.
and then he like sits down in the seat, and then this like alien robot head comes down and starts like yelling at him in all these different languages, and he's
Yep.
like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" And then it starts honing down its voice to try and figure out what language it needs to speak, to
Yep.
communicate with this little boy. And what it comes out with is the voice of Pee Wee Herman.
Right. And I wasn't sure because he's not billed as Pee Wee Herman in it.
He's
He's not
billed
billed
as
as
Pall Mall,
Paul
which
Mall,
is a
yeah.
it's a brand of
Oh, that is
cigarettes.
a brand of cigarettes.
Remember Pall Malls?
Yes, I do. That's mad. I hadn't even considered that.
Hmm.
Because like yeah, because his actual name was Paul Rubens, and I was like,
Hmm.
well, because the way he was like, laughing and stuff like that, I was like, that's clearly Pee Wee Herman.
I was
And
like,
then
is it a knockoff or is it really him?
yeah, apparently
Yeah,
yeah,
it's him. But he didn't want anybody to know. He wanted it to be like a secret. So yeah,
that's
when you
why.
look at
Okay,
it, it's now on his IMDb, and I wish we could, hear from Paul Rubens about what his memories are of the movie,
true.
but um so yeah, it's like it becomes this hilarious dialogue between basically like Pee Wee Herman robot alien and this
Hmm.
little kid, and you know, they just it's so like we are part of Pee Wee's Playhouse, right? Did you guys have Pee Wee's Playhouse?
Not really. It's there's an awareness.
Damn.
There's an awareness of Pee Wee Herman, but it's not as big as in America.
It was so big here.
Yeah,
Everyone I know had the doll. Everyone was dressed up as Pee Wee Herman for Halloween. I
yeah,
remember second grade, like I had a crush on somebody, and I was like, he's dressed like Pee Wee Herman. Ha ha
love it.
ha. Right? So it was like he was huge. It was like Max Headroom or whatever. Hedron.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go on all these adventures, and the kid learns to fly, and what we figure out is that he can is that he can figure out how to get the ship back to where it needs. The ship is
He
trying to return all these other little creatures.
the ship's kind of like accidentally flew into some sort of power plant and has
Right.
lost all of its data, but has stored a lot of the data in the boy's head, in Joey's
Yes.
or David's head, I should say.
David's head. Right.
So they need to kind of work together to both get the ship back to its home planet and the creatures that it's carrying, and also maybe figure out a good solution for David.
Yes. So I got to in Life After the Navigator,
Yes.
you get to talk to the puppeteers that were talking about like creating the little characters,
Yes.
and what each one represents. There's one that has a cold that was apparently originally going to be like a sex. It was like it wasn't sneezing, I'll say.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Oh, wow.
And they were like, no, that didn't
Jeez.
get through the Disney machine. So,
I'm
but
not
yeah,
surprised.
I know, right? Um, it's just sorry, fun facts. Uh, I will say they fit a lot of story into 90 minutes.
They do. And like, I think that like, from then on, it is mostly like, the people on Earth trying to figure out what's going on, and the kids, like David and the ship, kind of making a bond, forming a friendship. Eventually, the ship kind of scans his brains for the data it needs, and kind of develops some of his personality, so it becomes more silly and fun.
Hmm.
And then it's
Hmm.
just like you're off to the races. You're just having a
Yeah,
great time. It's just
yeah,
them doing crazy shit. Like they have a couple of different encounters with people. One where they kind of stop at the side of like a car and start speaking to people, which rules. And my
yeah,
favorite one, which is they stop at a gas station
yes.
and there's just a guy standing there slack jawed the entire time. It's fantastic.
I know. And he like gets out of the ship and the guy's still just like staring, and then the like ship flies away and like some guy comes up and talks to the guy, he's still just standing there like staring, like what
So
the
good.
fuck? Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Um, so what I'm trying to like my big question throughout watching it is like why is this so in like why is like it hit both of us. We're like, "Oh yeah, we should totally do this one."
mhm.
And like why do we our generation has such an affinity for this movie? Why? And I think it's because of the second half where we all want to be the navigator,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Like wouldn't it be amazing to have a funny, alien ship pick you up and like let you fly it and
Yeah.
need you to like help it get where it needs to go and get all
Uh-huh.
these other creatures back to their planets where they need to go. And like that, it allowed us to, as children, to like be in the seat
Yeah.
or imagine ourselves in the seat
Yeah.
and be
Yeah.
David.
Yeah. And it was just such like a yeah, I think just such a kind of like piece of escapism, such a kind of wish fulfillment sort of thing.
Hmm.
And yeah, like and I have always loved sci-fi stuff in particular. Like it's always drawn me more than like fantasy stuff. I mean, I like genre stuff, like I like all sorts of things, but the genre stuff really kind of grabs me, especially as a kid. And that was, oftentimes whenever there's like kids involved in these things, it feels like they're along for the ride, or it feels like
Hmm.
they are,
There's a grown up leading them.
yes,
Yeah.
or has some part in it. And this just feels like proper. You're the only one who can do it as a kid. You're
Yeah.
the only one who could help this alien,
Yes.
get back to its home world.
This
And there's
charming alien.
right, and there's something so exciting about that. It really is very thrilling.
Yeah. And I think that still holds.
Yeah.
And there aren't a lot of movies like the kids. I notice like if there's a movie where there's a child who is in the main cast, they're more
Yeah,
excited to watch that movie.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So like, Temple of Doom, they're like, "Oh, there's a kid in this." I'm like,
Sure.
"Yeah." And they're like, so they can, it's hard when you're 8 to be like, "Oh, I can picture myself as an archaeologist."
Yeah.
Haha, right?
That's a good point. That's a
I
very
know
good
what that
point.
is.
Yeah, yeah,
Haha.
yeah. No, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've often wanted to be an archaeologist.
Right?
Um,
Um,
True.
Jinx, buy me
Yeah.
something. Um, I will say, watching it, like, I wish they'd introduced the ship earlier. That's my one critique. I
I
know, I think you disagree because you kind of referred to that, but like, I kept having to say to the kids, like, I swear it's gonna get funny. It's not sad and scary like this, because like, it's intense when the
it is.
government's like, and he's like, who are you? You're not my parents. Like, that's every child's nightmare, right?
It's
Not every,
proper.
like, it's no one's child nightmare, but now it is because they've seen the movie.
It's like no, absolutely, and I think it's so scary as well. Whenever it's like he's 8 years in the future, he hasn't aged. What's going on? It's very, very unsettling because there's no answers like for a long, long time.
Hmm.
But I know what you mean, and I think in a lesser movie, that first half would have been really frustrating for me, but I feel like I really like a lot of the build up, even though it was like, um, what's the problem? It's not problematic, but like sad and kind of and like, maybe a lot to emotionally deal with at first, but like
Hmm.
again, it makes the payoff for me so much sweeter
Yeah,
whenever the ship is on the
yeah,
scene.
yeah. I will just say the children were like, "What?" at
Eh,
first.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I was
What are
like,
we watching?
it's so good, this funny robot, da 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 da." And they're like, I was
Yeah, that
like,
makes
I swear, just hold on.
Yeah, okay, okay. I can see that. I can absolutely see that. I think I might struggle at first too. But like I think, I certainly would have seen this. Would I have seen this in the movies? I might have. I would have been 7. It's
You
very
know,
possible.
it's interesting because I did I looked at all of the box office because internet's amazing. I
Yeah.
got all of the top box office movies from 1985 when it came out because I was like, or no, 86, sorry. Um, what other films were out
Hmm.
that? compared that maybe were better or worse. And it wasn't top box office at all. It didn't make a ton of money. Where it
Oh,
made its
okay.
money and where it got its fandom was from video.
Video. That makes sense.
And it was always on TV,
Yes. Same over
kind of
here.
like Tremors.
Yeah.
It's like if
Yeah.
it's on, you watch it, right?
Yeah.
So he, okay, so do we want to kind of wrap up the ending?
So
And then
yeah, let's just
I've got some facts.
talk about the ending, and then we can talk about specifics and
Yeah.
specific segments of it. So essentially, he is told early on the reason why, not early on, but about halfway through when he meets the ship, that the reason why he didn't take him back to his own time was that it would likely kill him, so he didn't want to
Mhm.
take the risk. He makes his way back to his family home in 1986, realizes that there is no such thing as a normal life for him there just because of the circumstances of his like him not aging. He sees all the police there, all the NASA scientists there, and he's like, let's just take this risk. Let's roll the dice and we'll see what happens. So they do. He wakes up in the ravine again once again. He runs home. His parents are in the boat. He sees his parents in a very sweet moment. He tells his mom he loves him, that he loves her, and he tells
Mhm.
his brother that he loves him. And everybody's like,
Mhm.
"What's going on?" But it
Mhm.
feels earned and
Mhm.
sweet. It doesn't feel tacked on and cloy. It really, and cloying, I should say. But it's just, it is quite nice. Um, and then you see them have the fireworks display, and you see the ship kind of flying across the sky, and it's
Yeah.
very
You
nice.
definitely want to have fireworks in a little sailboat too.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's smart. That's just smart. That's just the maritime law.
Right? No.
But yeah, like, and so yeah, and again, I got in and out in 90 minutes, so I was very happy about that.
Yeah.
Um, so Beth, do you want to like, if you got other specifics, I've got a few wee segments as
Um,
well.
so I have facts. So let's get into
Okay,
your segments and then I'll tag
the
in.
facts. Okay, well, I'll do a segment first, and then we'll do some facts, and then we'll do
R.
another
Okay.
segment. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and
Okay.
then we'll do our yeah. Okay, so.
And don't look at the time, just enjoy this.
Exactly right. So obviously we've got to go back to Too Legit to Fit, and we've got to talk about who are the best outfits in the movie. I think it's an obvious, easy answer for me. I want to hear what you think.
Oh, I would say Jeff, his brother, as his older, his younger older brother.
She shoots, she scores. That's the correct answer.
Yeah. So like
It's
his shirt that was like
ah
rolled up and then the hair and the
yes, yes.
glasses. I
The
was
rolled
like,
up
this is
sleeves and the short
amazing.
sleeve shirt are just mwah. So like every time I was like, yes, Jeff, you're doing it. You're living the dream.
Yep.
With style for days. So yeah, it was easy answer for me. And I've
Yes.
also written down here, I think I'm going to rip off his style.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You
okay.
have the hair for it.
Thanks. I appreciate it. All right. Do you have some facts for us?
Okay, so I have a Jeff fact. So
Yep.
there's a scene where he's trying to find his house and he doesn't remember where his house is. And like, so his brother is like, okay, I've got to figure out a way to like signal where he can find us. And so he's
Hmm.
like, I'm gonna crawl up on top of the house and light off a bunch of fireworks. They let this kid go up this on top of the roof and light the fireworks off. And he's like, I don't know why they let me up there. That was me. That was all me. That wasn't a stunt person. I'm just like, so if you do a little rewatch,
It's like
that's
1980s rules is just like
yeah,
nobody
man.
gives a
I loved
shit.
it. I loved it. So
Incredible.
that's a little fact.
Love it.
In his cool shirt with the rolled up sleeves. Um, so if you decide to watch, uh, I highly recommend. It's a little, it's sad. I'm not gonna lie because
Yeah.
the actor that plays David, his name is Joey Kramer.
Yeah.
He is Canadian. It's not sad. It's a story. It's his life. It's not
Yeah.
sad. I'm sorry.
No, I understand
It's
what you're
just
saying.
unexpected. He was offered the role of Wesley on Star Trek, The
Wow,
Next
really?
Generation. Turned it down. It was like, I'm gonna finish high school and maybe then decide to be an actor after that. Because his mom was like, I don't know. Like she's a big hippie. She like found a random guy that was like, "Do you want to have a baby?" And he was like, "Sure." And she was like, "I wanted to be a single mom and I wanted to have a kid."
Okay.
But apparently, um, Dave or Joey, who plays David, was like a klepto from an early age,
I
and
see.
he says like I it's statistically, and I don't know where he gets his statistics from, but clearly he's done more work on this than I have. Um, Children that are raised by single mothers are more likely to steal. So that
Interesting.
he got back to high school, everyone was making fun of him. Like, you think you're better. He got beat up all the time and started to fill his life with drugs and alcohol in
Hmm.
order to numb out. And ended up becoming a drug addict, and he got arrested much farther down the road for robbing a bank.
Wild.
Yeah, and so he's been in and out of jail. He was a heroin addict. But this documentary really goes into, they kind of at the same time you're going through the making of the movie, you're going through David or Joey Kramer, who plays David's life
Hmm.
and what the movie meant to people, how, you know, his life went one direction, but it could have gone another. And, you know, but he was like, basically, I have this propensity for drugs and alcohol. And had I been in Hollywood, I probably would have been dead by now.
Yep, yep, yep.
Um, so it's just, and now he's acting again. So he went through all this treatment. He's acting again. And now Bendy is following him on Instagram.
Nice.
So go give Joey Kramer some lovin's, guys. If you love Flight of the Navigator,
Hell
he's
yeah.
going to Comic Cons, he's signing stuff, he's getting himself back out in the world. And it's almost like his life is mirroring that 8 years that he disappeared from in the
Mm.
movie. It's like he disappeared from our lives and now he's back.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful for that,
Rooting for him.
that he's still hanging out. Yeah. So highly recommend. And okay, also, sorry, I have a lot of stuff.
Sorry.
Um, they're remaking this movie.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Interesting.
So Bryce Dallas Howard, who's Ron Howard's daughter, is working on
Hmm.
the remake. It's in pre-production right now.
Okay.
I think Joey Kramer should be the father,
It's a good idea.
and
It's
that's what I think there.
it's so like I mean, and it's like it's a tough road I think for a lot of child actors. And like
Mhm.
for more often than not, it's a
Yeah.
really tough road,
It's like
and
it's
I wouldn't
like
wish that on anyone.
never wish it on anyone.
So like I'm kind of glad that he has been able to turn things around because that sounds like a rough go of it. It really does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, like the only other thing I wanted to talk about was the music a little bit. We've
Hmm.
titled this Bendy Beats for now, so we're at least keeping a bit of the branding.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So the music was composed and performed by Alan Silvestri. It is distinct from his other scores in being entirely electronically generated using the synclavier, one of the first digital multi-track recorders and samplers.
No
Yeah.
way.
So it's one of the first kind of like synthy sort of electronic sort of movie soundtracks. And I think it's great. Like I think it's got sort of some really cool stuff in there.
I liked the soundtrack very much.
It's very distinct,
Yeah.
and again, especially at the time, I remember it being really kind of like, what is this?
Hmm.
But I really like the music in it, I must say.
Hmm. Yeah, I did too. I guess it didn't really like stand out to me as much as I'm just like John, what's his name? That
Uh,
does every music score ever.
Williams?
Thank you. I his all his music hits me so
Yes.
hard. Um, so if it's not John Williams, I really have to focus.
Have you seen that documentary yet?
No,
It's
I
also on
saw it on
Disney Plus.
Disney.
Yeah,
I saw it.
once you finish, it's also really fantastic.
Okay.
Um, yeah, he's the freaking absolute master. He really is. There almost nobody like him. Um, yeah, no, but I'd say I thought it was very well done, and it just helped to kind of it really kind of embellished the movie in wonderful ways.
Hmm.
All right, so we get to our final wee
Yes.
part of this. So
Yes.
what we're going to do is going forwards is we're going to
Possibly.
possibly, yeah. Let's see how you react. It's categorized the movies in one of three ways, which is revisit, which is if we think it's worth revisiting, it still holds up. remember if it's one just, it's fine, but it's probably just worth holding in your memories, or refuse, which is if it's complete garbage and you should never go near it with a large barge pole.
Mhm.
So Beth, what do you think? Revisit, remember, or refuse for Flight of the Navigator?
I'm going to be totally honest and say
Yeah.
until I watched Life After the Navigator, I was more on the revisit or the remember side of things.
Okay.
And then I watched that and like it totally hit me a different way.
That's interesting.
Um, mhm. Just because um there's a point in the documentary where he's like in because they kind of follow him, I think, throughout a, a year or two, and he's in treatment at one point, and he's upset because he feels like he's let everybody down who loved that movie
Yeah.
so much. And like, God, that's too much to carry. Like, please let that go, Joey Kramer. But
Yeah.
I was like, damn, like it is worth, I will say revisiting, absolutely, because it had like when we've been, just when we were talking, like you and I, we were like, what are we gonna watch? We're like, I don't know. I was like, what about that? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. It's like it's got some. It's it puts kids in the navigator seat,
Yes, it does.
and it like allows adults to put ourselves back in ourselves as children, putting
Yes,
ourselves in the navigator seat.
it does. And it really is transports you in a way that, yeah, I think other movies struggle to do often,
Mhm.
and especially like a Disney movie and something that is like has to be sanitized and is very kind of kid friendly. It really kind of puts you in that headspace in a kind of really kind of wonderful way. So yeah, I think I'm absolutely a revisit as well. Like
Mhm.
I have a lot of nostalgia for this. And like I think that can work both for and against a movie, but I just really enjoyed this, and I really was really happy to go back to it, and yeah, an easy revisit for me.
Mhm. And it's like it's funny, like I don't know if you have like we have Amazon TV or Fire TV or whatever, so it shows you like all the things you've been watching and all these things you could be watching,
Yeah.
and it has all these other things. And like I had the screen up y- yesterday because I was doing just some writing some notes down, and then the kids were like, "What are you doing?" And they were like, they were like, "Oh, Flight of the Navigator," and like they honed in on that visual out of all the other
Interesting.
visuals. Yeah. And I was like, do you want to watch it with me? They're like, yeah. So, um,
Iconic.
even for them who had struggled in the beginning, they're like, we want to rewatch that.
Yeah. I love it.
They
That's
want to revisit
fantastic.
it.
And that
So I know.
rocks. Makes me
I
very
know. It's
happy.
like I have this, I get to check with my little beta team here. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. They would test it for me. Incredible.
Right. So
Love
yeah.
it. All right.
Highly
Cool.
recommend it. I will also say I was
Hmm.
comparing like, but when I was like, maybe we should leave it in the remember category because in 1986, these are other movies that came out that were top box office grossing: Top Gun, Back to School, Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
Hmm.
Stand By Me, Pretty in Pink, and American Tail. I was like trying to big like
God,
children's movies, right? Little Shop of Horrors, Big Trouble in Little China. These all came out in the same year.
what a year for
That's a
movies.
smattering. I didn't even do the top 100. This is like the top like 15.
Jeez.
Anyways,
Do you remember whenever there was lots of good movies coming out
I'm
in a
like,
year?
fucking Hollywood, get on your shit. Look
I
at
know.
this. Look at 1986.
It just doesn't happen anymore. The good
I
glory
know.
days are behind us. And I find that to be absolute bullshit all of the time, but I think where movies are these days, a lot of the glory days are behind us, sadly. But
I know. It's like stop remaking shit, make new shit.
it's
But
just because that's where the money is. Unfortunately, it's
well,
such a bummer.
yeah.
Like
It was
it's
so
it,
they asked because they knew when they were filming this that Bryce Dallas Howard had, I think in 2020 she started like talking about it, and in
okay,
2021 she was like, we're going to do this. So it's been in pre-production since 21. And Randall Kleiser was like, I don't know how I feel about like the remake.
okay.
He's like, I'm trying to think about any remakes that were better than the original. And he was like,
That's a very good point.
I can't think
That's
of any.
I have mixed feelings about that in that regard as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I think there are some. Like The Thing's a good example of that, I think.
Yeah, that definitely. Yep.
improved. But
Yep.
it's only like really old movies whenever they didn't know how to make movies. They kind of did
Right.
know how to make movies in the 80s. Anyway, I
Right.
digress. Okay. Right. So I think that's we've kind of wrapped up our topic and time to move on to our final wee section. Beth, what has been
Mm.
bringing you joy this week?
So I'm gonna say light and ma I did this already, but I'm gonna say light and magic again
Oh, really?
because
Why
yeah,
not? It
because
rocks.
it's just like the kids like are so into it. And so we watched episode 4, which is I Found My People of season 1, and it's just like what everyone hope like all of the nerds in us, right? You hope and dream that you find your people who are interested in the same things that you like to do, like claymation and nerding out and
Hmm.
figuring out how to implode the poltergeist house, which is
Yes.
fascinating. Anyways, so the kids have been like it's inspiring them to be more creative. So they're working on making their own movies now. Have I told you this?
No,
Yeah, they got their iPad out and they like made a movie.
that
And they like,
rocks.
yeah, it's like light magic and it's like Momo and like baby Momo and like
Sure.
the dog or whatever, but still like they're inspired to start making
I
things
love it.
because they're seeing people make things and they're like, "Oh, I can do that."
That's why,
And I'm
yes,
like, "How fucking cool is that?" So that is bringing me joy.
that's why everybody needs to watch Light and Magic right there.
Yes,
It's
yes.
incredible. It's just
I'm
incredible.
not inspired to do anything, but watching other people do it brings me
Still,
joy.
still, still, still pretty great. Um,
What about you?
so just been thinking about it recently because there's a few times when I've just been really stressed out recently, and I've got to say, and she's in the room with me right now. It's Sasha T Dog.
Sasha.
I've had a thought recently where I'm like, I'm not sure if I kind of would say I do like dogs. I really do like dogs, but like I think they're kind of like my opinion on them has become more complex over time, and like I am not as completely as much of like a all dogs are incredible because like I know that's
When you're managing them and they're not yours and you're in
yes.
charge. Yeah.
Like I'm sweeping generalizations on anything are bad, but
Yeah.
it's just my feelings on them are more complex. But it's also reminded me that Sasha's amazing. As I wrote down here, she's the goat dog. She's like the
She is
Michael
a good
Jordan of
dog.
dogs. I love her. I love her so much. She's my wee oasis in the storm. Whenever I'm feeling stressed, I can just go and give her a squeeze,
Yeah.
and it really helps. So yeah,
Go
Sasha,
hug your dogs. Go
go
hug
hug
your
your dogs,
dogs.
everybody. Yeah, they
Go
rock.
hug a friend's dog. Or
Um,
not.
or not. Yeah, I mean, like check with them first if they're chill or not. Um, okay. So that's just the end of the episode. Beth, can you tell everybody where they can find us?
Please find us at bendypodcast.com.
Love it. All right,
Yes.
folks. In that case, as always, we'd like to remind you to stay
Stay
bendy.
bendy.
Nice.
Eh.
All right. We love you, folks.
Take
Bye
that,
bye.
everybody. Love
Yeah.
you.
Bye.
Bye.